seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Ban. 10 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban.
Here for another day of the BTS Pro Series Season 2. It is MLP Dota and Johnny 5. I'm not working, unfortunately, sir, but I hope your voice is. How you doing?
I'm doing as great as one can be when your internet's shut out for no reason. Pretty excited for the game still. Got Neon Esports up against Geek Fam. Saw Geek Fam yesterday. It was a bit up and down. They did drop a game to T1. They look pretty dominant up against Execration, so we'll have to see what they do pull out here up against Neon this time around. And historically, GeekFam has pretty much beat out Neon in the past series they've played. Neon has kind of struggled trying to find the footing against GeekFam. They've only played one series this year, but they played a lot in 2019, and it's been consistent for GeekFam. So Neon, they've got to shake it up. I do believe we have a sub today playing in. I don't believe Raging Potato is here, so we do have Cypher Rappy, if I recall right.
Rappy is subbing in today for the side of Neon. When I say subbing in, I believe he's always been part of the team. Maybe just as that kind of sixth player in case they sub team right now, but. Yeah, Raging Potato, I'm not sure what was going on there. I think he might just be a bit occupied at the moment, and so they bring Rappy in instead. Still, you kind of talked about it, GeekFam, they've had the upper hand throughout the history of the games they've played out between GeekFam and Neon Esports, so I did say they're looking to be the favorites in this matchup, and I'm sure the odds and all that agree. For now, anyway. But Neon Esports the other day, we didn't see them. Surprise you.
Yeah, they definitely can. And GeekFam, I think the strongest point they've had is really been down to Carl. If you recall yesterday, Carl was just on a roll with that Ember Spirit, just really on point. And surprisingly enough, Cuckoo's Treant Protector. Like, that hero has most definitely popped back in the offlane role for a couple of games. We'll see whether or not Geek Fam will opt for that here. They do start with the DK. And it's one of the three flexible heroes right now, right? It's been the DK, it's been the Queen of Pain, it's been the Ember Spirit. And this time around, Geek Fam does get that DK, which they can give to Cuckoo on the off, or they could give to Carl. So there's a lot of flexibility for Geek Fam off the bat. And it's a DK. It's stable in lane. Once you hit 6, you can try to take those early objectives.
Yeah, I personally believe this hero right now is probably your best first pick you can make. At least one of the ones that doesn't get banned out every single game. Like, it's still banned out at least half of the games we want. But any game that it isn't, I would say it's probably the best first pick you can make. So Geek Fam, they do take it. And we've seen Geek Fam with this DK do a hell of a lot of work. And I mean, you talked about how flexible it is, but every single player on the side of Geek Fam do enjoy running that DK. So it's probably surprising to see them pick it up. Neon Esports, however, they do go for the Void Spirit now. It's a bit more surprising to see as a first pick, though we do see some teams really like to prioritize that Void Spirit. And I believe it was Neon who was really first picking that Void Spirit every chance they got. And now they're going to a Grimstroke as well.
Yeah, it's much less common as a first pick, that Void Spirit. It's been a high priority mid though, so there's some flexibility with a Void Spirit. We've seen a few teams toss it in the offlane. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case for Neon, but they've got a solid tempo setting hero in that Void Spirit. Once it hits 6, you tend to see it really just tear through a lot of heroes. And great magic damage for the DK, so in that sense, you've kind of balanced that out. With the Grimstroke, a lot of initiation potential, and a lot of great laning presence from these two heroes. So it's pretty solid for Neon. Geek Fam, though, this is an opening we see them go back to every single time, and the Queen of Pain does make an appearance. So it's that flexible 2 sets of heroes here for Geek Fam. Either one could be played by Cuckoo or Carl, so you're never quite sure what that mid matchup will be.
That is true. The classic DK quap. It's can't remember how many times it's been now we've seen Geek Fam go for this opening, but it usually means they are going to be feeling pretty good this game with that opening of that DK quap. I think Neon Esports probably should have expected this to come out though, in all fairness. It has been multiple times now that Geek Fam has had this exact opening. We'll see one more ban coming up from Neon Esports before the draft continues. The Timbersaw, of course, somehow made it to the 5th ban for Geek Fam. That's been a first ban every single game we've seen. But now it is removed, so we won't see it this game either. Actually, it would have been quite nice up against the DK if Neon Esports did want to pick it up, but they opted for that Void Spirit Grim instead.
5 seconds.
Now, Neon Esports, they might have a think about this 5th ban out. You can't have the Treant Protector that is still available right now. I doubt they'll go down the route though, because you do have that Quap DK now, so you probably won't have space for it. And I don't really think they need it per se, but you may want to get rid of the like it if you're Neon Esports. We see from Raven. I mean, they just it wasn't even close. It's not like it.
Yeah, it's really tricky because Geek Fam plays around it perfectly, and again, it was in their last game against Execration where Geek Fam went a bit wild with that draft. Just Raven finding, 25-minute AC, Necronomicon, Tree, and Radiance and the like. So probably not the best hero to give him, and they do ban it out as respect. They clear for themselves, which is, I guess, really nice in this scenario because you've got the Grimstroke on your side. You don't have to worry about the Rolling Thunder being held down. You could go for Bane. Yeah, Geek Fam just take that Bane in response just to keep the Pangolier in place. So they get that solid 5, and that Bane has been popping back in, Mike.
It's been very popular, John. I think it's probably the best +5 in the game right now. Arguably, I mean, maybe not the best, but it's pretty darn good. Like, I'd say it's at least considered an A tier if you're gonna put it in the tier list. It's really, really good right now. Very potent. It did receive nerfs in the previous patch. mostly they switched up the level 10 and 15 talents, so your cast range talent went from level 10 to level 15, which did hurt, but overall the hero is still just amazing overall. And of course up against the Pangolier, you can Fiend's Grip him during the Rolling Thunder, and that way he just can't do anything. For the Void Spirit, of course, you have that great Spirit, and now the Puck even more value coming out for this Bane. Although now there's 3 targets he has to try and go for, in all fairness, but there is a lot of value.
I do still like the Puck here for Neon. I think that gives him a very strong way of keeping that Queen of Pain down with the Dream Coil. So you've got really good control here from Neon. You've got great team fight coming out. You have some flexibility with the Puck as well. It's still pretty open whether or not you want to toss the Puck mid, or the Puck off, or the Void mid, or the Void off. So there are options there for Neon and in running their draft and getting the lanes out. Of course, you've got some issues maybe with the Pango 4. We've seen some teams struggle to find that EXP. If that is, Neon will do the Pango, but otherwise it is fairly open for them, so there is flexibility to consider. Geek Fam's response though, the Ricky coming out. Yeah, it definitely is.
We haven't seen the pause one, Ricky.
No, we haven't just yet, and I can see it working out for them though. It kind of plays into Raven's playstyle. He does like to play semi-aggressively sometimes, although if you go the slower route for the Battle Fury, Ricky can kick into pace as well. So we'll see what Geek Fam does opt for. The silence is going to be great here. It gives him great control over something like the Puck or the Void Spirits. There's a lot of value in that Ricky. You don't have the best hold from Neon to truly lock him in. You're looking at maybe the Remnant from the Void Spirit or the Silence from the Puck to really just kind of hold him down. Beyond that, the Ricky can kind of dance around here if you're not careful. So there is some pretty good mobility here from Geek Fam with that Ricky. And yeah, the key thing is Raven's itemization. I wouldn't be too surprised if you went for the Battle Fury instead, as Raven does tend to prefer farming as in his playstyle.
10 seconds.
Which is why I'm kind of surprised they went for that Ricky. Because I'm just not used to seeing him wanting to fight that early on. He really does just prefer to farm if he can. I think there's a hell of a lot of value here though with that smokescreen on the Puck and Void Spirit though. It's easy pickings for that Ricky in this game around. Of course, Neon Esports, their final ban, they get rid of the clockwork, which is quite intriguing. I guess we could have seen a Zephyr possible clock. I wouldn't have expected it though, in all fairness. We haven't really seen that come out of him yet. Geek Ban, they ban out the PL. They don't really have an answer to that PL this game, so it's a nice ban to make here for Geek Fam. And, well, their final pickup now, they are still lacking that pos 4, or alternatively a mid, if they are going to run maybe the pos 4 Quap, which we did see from Zephyr yesterday. He did do quite well in that pos 4 Quap as well, so I wouldn't be quite surprised.
Yeah, I think the only issue for Geek Fam in this game with a pause for Quap would be control might be a bit lacking. You're really relying on the Bane in the early game. Maybe the DK steps in once you have a blink, but that sometimes takes a bit of time. So you might be having some issues in that sense, but again, we've seen Zephyr do it quite well. And the closer for Geek Fam is something I actually really enjoy. The Pugna makes an appearance, so you've got very fast pace from Geek Fam. Right? It's just really fast tower pushes with the Pugna, with DK. You've got a way to punish the Puck every single time the Puck has the spell. It's harder to chain the blink escapes because you're constantly taking damage from the Nether Ward. So there's a refresh time. You can break Puck's combination there, and you can really start to melt through the map. Although, Neon's response, the Bloodseeker, that is one way to keep that Ricky in check and really tear through these heroes. Like, fam, it'd be hard to run away from that Seeker. Of course, the Pugna can play around with the Decrep in that case, but I think there's some early game potential now from Neon as well.
Oh, there certainly is. Intriguing kind of pick with that Bloodseeker. It's the first time we've seen it in the BTS Pro Series for Season 2. I look forward to see what it can do. I don't really have the highest hopes in all fairness of the Bloodseeker, but we'll see how it goes. Like, you are playing into a Pugna in all fairness. That is going to be a pos 4 Pugna, but my problem with the Bloodseeker is, John, you just decrepify and he can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's, and even then, right, like if you've got someone that's quite low on HP, that's being chased down, if you decrep the Bloodseeker and just life drain your teammate to heal them up, well, it kind of just makes the Bloodseeker, you know, somewhat, not useless, but you get my point. It nullifies the whole point of the Bloodseeker. That's assuming that goes down, though. You know, it's not as easy as not as easy said than done.
It definitely isn't, but I think there is potential from both sides there. Like with the Bloodseeker in this case, right? You've got the nice AoE silence to maybe break off that Fiend's grip from Whitemon, so you do have a safer way to cancel that off without expending a big spell. Of note as well for Neon, they are pause for Void Spirit and the offlane Pango, so looks like we will be seeing play hard in Void Spirit this time. We'll see how much he can pull out from Void Spirit. It's not something we see in Southeast Asia too often, that 4 Void, but we have seen it in some other regions, and it can get the work done depending on how aggressive you play early. You just need to hit level 6 to really start applying even more pressure.
Sure. Can be quite devastating.
我是一个没有感情的
So
刷
actually,
钱
oh, there
机
we
器。
go. They're finally done. I was gonna say it's not doing anything with these actions yet, but
There will be screaming.
of course it wouldn't be DOTA without a great old course.
Oh yeah. First, minute 0 pause is how we like it. Just the way everyone likes it.
So it's gonna be that safe lane, Ricky. They're not gonna play any kind of funny latency with Raven.
No.
He should basically have a free lane though on that top lane in all fairness. Like, the Pangoli can be annoying, but you've got the super high space regen on the Ricky. Well, what's going on? What are they saying?
No, he was just saying... Carl was just saying that Play Hard's is pretty big, pretty long. You know? Play Hard Seb is pretty long.
Oh,
and he's just like,
I mean, he does have a huge set, yeah.
Barry thanks. Play Hard's throwing some shit into Carl, saying that Carl's is just loose change in comparison. And they're somehow making fun of Zephyr for alt tabbing. Like he's not paying attention apparently.
I don't blame him. Zephyr's a man of business. He doesn't waste his time with these jokes and stuff, right? He'll be back once the game starts.
Something brief. I don't know what underwear has to do with it. Apparently, Cuckoo says it's just like purchasing underwear. Okay, Cuckoo.
What's like purchasing underwear? Huh?
I guess it's. I'm trying to check the context. I can't scroll up enough. See, this is an issue. What? Nah, this is probably inside stuff. I'm not sure what they're referencing. It's nice to see.
See you later,
Teams
nerds.
be.
On that note, by the way, we are trying to hire a Filipino that can translate for us, because John can't apparently. So if there's Filipinos out there, just send them through.
There will be.
I don't know how Carl
There will be
throws out the casual yawa, but that's something good for us Bisaya folk. Just tossing our own curse. It's always nice to see, Mike.
It is, he's a cultured man, John.
Yeah, just cursing in 2 different dialects is always good.
It's very cultured. Bot lane Skem's gonna be there, but he's not gonna go after that bounty. He's by himself at the moment. So GEEK will secure both bottom bounty runes, and the top runes, of course, will go to the way of Neon Esports. I was talking before that this Ricky by Raven really shouldn't suffer too much in this lane. The Pango can be annoying, but that's really all I think he can be. Like, the base region of Ricky is just so high in the laning states that you can't really get through all his HP quite quickly.
Yeah.
Is that a possible voice?
Yep, it is. is play hard on it. So they are going with the core Pango, the pause for Void Spirit, which again isn't too common in Southeast Asia, but we have seen from time to time elsewhere, and it does kind of make sense, right? The Void Spirit doesn't take too much farm. You really need to just hit level 6, and at that point play hard and start applying that pressure. Of course, at some point you would want some way of farming the Ags. There's just way too much value in that item pickup, but with the Void on the pause 4, that timing's probably going to be delayed.
I'm gonna have a couple of disconnections here from Neon Esports. So,
And
draft from GEEK fam, I think you... It's such a fast-paced lineup, right? Like once you've got the DK at 6, you've got the Bot, maybe at that point she'll be level 8, and the Ricky as well. Like Raven, he can join these team fights so fast if his team needs him. Like they may opt to just farm a little bit. They may not choose to start rushing down lanes. But once you get around that 10-minute mark, I think Raven may just join up with his team and start just joining the fights.
yeah,
I don't really see any reason for him to just keep farming here. Like once you've got a couple Wraith Bands and Treads up on that Ricky with a lineup like this, they do tend to melt quite fast on the enemy esports.
yeah, they're not the tankiest targets, and this does open up that early pressure for Geek Fam as well. I think one other really strong aspect from Geek Fam's draft is just their laning. Like you look down bot, you see some on the Bloods. You've got Whitemon and Zephyr around already to make that hellish. So if they want to just delay aggression, Bloodseeker, and hanging around for a level or 2 down here should really make it hard for Schem to find some early last hits.
You should be able to just decrepify Schem on that Bloodseeker every time he goes for that last hit. So force him to use the Blood Right to try and get those CS, but even then it can be quite challenging because it's just so projected. Quite easy to just try and go into the denial while you have a chance, while that Blood Right is still charging up. There's gonna be a lot of pressure here on your Page as well. I think he's gonna have to be rotating quite early on in the park. So things can escalate quite fast here with this draft from Geek Fam if you're not too careful. Disconnections coming up.
Yeah, it's just just a bad day for internet again. You know how it is. It's staple, Southeast Asian staple. Just like rice, you have it everywhere. It disconnects. I mean, you know, it's like I'm on mobile hotspot. I've got my dad's phone on top of my PC right now, hooked into a charger as well, just to make sure. Somehow it's holding up, at least for the Void, I hope. But there's some issues. Yeah, it's something. I'm pretty sure this is not playable, though, so I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So I can get why these boys are trying to get as best of connection as possible.
Speaking of, did you try reconnecting to the camera thing again?
Oh yeah, it's calling in, and if it, okay, I got muted. I instantly have to mute it because it might just go off. It's not cooperating too well, but
No,
we'll try to get that fixed.
See you later, nerds.
Another day with the internet.
Yeah, Zephyr's being nice though. Take your time, Zephyr. Facebook mode. Why are they making fun of Zephyr just alt-tabbing? One point, but you know, maybe he's got that multitasking up to par, just playing high-level Dota and surfing social media.
You're good at multitask these days, John. It's just not enough to have like one screen and, you know, can't be on one app at a time. That's not really
No.
2020, John. You gotta get with the times.
Oh, absolutely. That's just the way it rolls now. Zephyr though, telling Schem to focus up. That's for Fuckboy Neon. That's a compliment from Carl. He's saying that they're, Neon are full of cool folk. You know,
Dreaming of
yeah,
this
that's a very roundabout way of saying it. I can't quite translate it, but I'm sure you can get the contents of Fuckboy. It should be fairly obvious, I think. One would hope. Maybe my accent's not coming through enough, but it's an accented way of calling someone.
Hurt the ones you love.
Okay. Well, it looks like we are going to be going ahead now, so disconnects are over. 5 minutes pause time left as well, apparently.
Yo, this is the second time someone's asked Raven if he's in a rush. Every time there's a pause and he's like, go. And everyone's like, are you in a rush, Raven?
I don't quite blame Raven. I mean, I don't know why players enjoy wasting time so much just sitting in a pause screen. It's, you know, you just want to play the game.
Yeah, but I guess Sever just enjoys that Facebook time, man.
That's fair enough. This is work time, Zephyr. No more Facebook for you, sir. It's going to be up against Genuine, who's going to be harassing Zephyr out quite a bit. That level 1 timing for the Pugna is quite slow. Plus, he went for the level 1 Netherward.
Yeah, that's an interesting start. Not very common. I think this does make it harder for Scamp to spam the Blood Right. It's just that, well, level 1 Ward is really easy to kill.
I'm kind of shocked he went for that. I appreciate the fact that you are going to remove a lot of mana there from Scam and just harass him out. But like you said, it's just so easy to kill off. And it's not like you're going to spam Blood Right that often at level 1. If you're scared. He'll put another one down. In all fairness though, if you go to try and kill off that ward, you can take a lot of free harassment from Zephyr. That might be the game plan. You're just trying to force them to deal with the ward and then him harassing them while they do it. But no, yeah, they get the deny off. Cuckoo got the deny that one. Scam going to chase Cuckoo down with the Ink Swirl. See a bit of damage there on the DK. He'll be fine. We'll have a look at the other lane. Got mid lane, your Page. Carl, saw him yesterday having a great old time on the Ember Spirit. Time around on the quad. Currently doing very well in this lane up against the park. Your Page gonna have to be a bit careful about how much harassment he takes from Carl. Will eventually just salve up.
Yeah, still a slightly better lane so far for Yapaj. Just managing to clear the creep waves. It's not like Carl's too far behind. Gonna be the story of this lane until perhaps you see an early support rotate out, but with how the side lanes are going, probably not gonna be happening anytime soon.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we're only 2 minutes 40 seconds in. Now the Discord's having some issues.
Yeah, it's interesting to me though, because we tend to see a lot of teams call for, I believe it's TeamSpeak. This is the first time I've seen someone call out for a Discord issue, so that's new.
Is it? Do people still use TeamSpeak?
Yeah, a lot of teams actually still use it.
Why?
I don't know. I guess they bought a server, you know, they bought some bandwidth, so they might as well. It is technically higher quality when you run your own server. You can control it a bit better, maybe privacy or DDoS concerns.
Yes.
There was a period of time where teams were still using Skype and Discord wasn't big, so I guess a lot of them did just transition to TeamSpeak, and that was the yeah, Skype. That's
the worst. It's just...
Oh, it was. Oh yeah, takes me back though. Like you and I think maintain our Skypes for just one person, and I miss that guy. He's a great fellow in the CIS scene. Very fun to work with.
I don't maintain Skype at all, John. I don't have it installed right now.
I keep it installed. I see. Yeah, that's smart. I just keep it around just in case I get reminded to run ads.
Alright. The top lane, of course, we do have Whiteman and Raven there. Currently, Raven's top of the last hits board. He's really being uncontested by rapping on this Pango. Which again was to be somewhat expected. Very hard to win this lane as a Pangolier. Especially when Whiteman's there and oh, that's a miss swashbuckle as well. But Whiteman's just continuously harassing him out and Rappy's really got no help around. Playhard has pulled the lane over, so he's trying to fix the lane up for Rappy, but this definitely isn't really helping out this Pangolier.
No. One of the things would avoid for, its laning presence is sometimes not the best. It takes some EXP to really build it up, and that's most certainly something GEEK fam is exploiting. As you mentioned, Raven pretty much free farming, and we've seen what happens when you let Raven have a free lane. It gets out of control very fast.
That it probably will if they're trying to contain Raven now. They do have a lot of creeps coming the way of Rappy though, so he'll get a bit of XP for himself and hopefully a bit of gold as well. Of course, Whiteman's just going to take care of just chasing down Playhard, making sure he doesn't have a good old time. Playhard still sitting at the level 2 mark, is going to have a struggle here in trying to get those levels up. He'll go after an Aether and onto Carl, but Carl will dodge it out quite easily. Playhard right now is just soaking XP off your Page, but he can't go back to the top lane because Whiteman's just blocking the way. He's kind of stuck here. He scans out, he scans Whiteman, still going to be chased though. Whiteman's hitting like a truck right now as well, which doesn't really help. He literally just can't get back to the lane. He's going to go the longest way possible.
Yeah, it's really hurting that top lane. Not the best results for Neon. They're just going to have to cop it. I mean, there's not much choice there. This is what they've drafted themselves into after all.
What they have. That mid lane though, your Page has started to overtake this Queen of Pain. Trying to go for that banner room snipe there from Carl. Your Page still going onto that swap. He could actually take him out, but now Zephyr's coming in and Carl is bolting up through all these auto attacks. Your Page though, Augur's going to be there. Does he want to jaunt in? He does, but he can't really kill Carl. And now he's in a very awkward position and he has to keep you out of there. He'll be alright in the end. Straight back to that mid lane. Well, your Page, if he can keep this up, he should be able to really carry his team through the mid game on that path. They are going to need it to set the tempo.
Yeah, it's really down to Page just finding a stronger start. It is already a bit good, you know, he's about a wave ahead of Carl, which is a nice start. You rarely see Carl in this kind of situation. And the puck can start making early rotations. You've got this up and running. There you go, the Dream Coil's out.
He's coming out now. Spring Sonic Wave that dodged out by your Page and he gets the kill. First blood is going to be there for the pump. Great dodge on that Sonic Wave. And it's going to really hurt for Carl, not only dying, but getting that Sonic Wave on cooldown for 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a nice big win for Neon down mid, and again, if Page maintains that pace, he should be able to get a lot more. White though, being chased out.
He's in trouble. The Nightmare does finally get taken off of Rappy, but he doesn't really have the swashbuckle anyway. Couldn't go for the chase. I thought Whiteman was just going to die there for sure, but the brain sap kept him alive. Rappy is still struggling quite a lot though. Like, he's got 23 last from the Tango. Now Raven, he comes in for one blink strike and you saw the damage. He just can't really sustain himself in this lane anymore. To make matters worse, we keep playing hard. But they tried to make the chase onto Cuckoo and things, but Cuckoo TP'd up. They didn't really have the Inkswell off in time, so they couldn't really stop the TP. It's just gonna hurt Neon now because you've rotated Playhard. He's already suffering in terms of levels. He's gonna run all the way up to the top lane again now. It's just not great news.
No, it definitely isn't. Neon's early game, sure they find first blood on your Page, but every other lane is still hurting. You're not finding the snowball you'd want from Scam, although he is finding last hits. Cuckoo, I'm sure, is with just finding his EXP on the DK, and this is again something GEEK fam needed. They just needed to find their level, hit a good stride on Raven, and even if you haven't slowed down that Bloodseeker, well, you do have solutions for that with your support partner anyway, so it's not going to be a point of concern. And you look at Zephyr, he actually did skip decrypt. He's really just maxing out the nether ward.
Make the jump onto Zephyr now. going to be in trouble with that silence. He's going to try and run, but will die. Down the jump in, play hard. Sonic Wave going to be quite decent, but your opponent does dodge it out again. They do get off play hard though, and so that'll be it. GEEK fam, they will back off. It is about that point though now where they'll probably start rotating this 4 or 5 and start just trying to find pickoffs across the map for GEEK fam. But back to that public build. Why no GEEK fam?
Yeah, that's an interesting way to go about it. I think they're just really trying to punish the puck and just make it hard for them to cast spells. So you're, again, limiting the spam to World Seeker, although down bot.
The bot lane is still going to be there on Genuine. He is going to at least get the stun on the Ricky, but not going to really matter. Cuckoo does get the kill for himself, and now with that Dragon Form, they are very easily going to push down that tier 1 tower. And this is really the problem with giving that AK over to GEEK fam. They do this every single time they hit that level 6 timing. There is going to be a rolling thunder. Now if Punch does rotate, Cuckoo is going to be in pretty big trouble. He'll try and turn around, but there's nothing he can do. Skem is going to rotate in and just take the kill for himself. They do successfully stop the bot push from happening, but it is a substantial amount of damage.
Yeah, it really is, and I'd say at this point, finding that defense is already a win for Neon. GEEK fam, gotta be a bit careful. Maybe try to give Zephyr some more EXP. Does have at least 1 point in GEEK rep, but you're gonna want a few more. Raven is hunting Skem.
It is just way out of position right now. Setting up for the top tier 1 push by farming in that area, but there's nobody there. Genuine just made his way up. That's a big pick off there for GEEK fam. That was the pos 1 of Neon Esports.
That's a really good punishment from GEEK. Skem, he needs to find safer farmer hunt more successfully. They do find Zephyr at least.
But they do. But Cuckoo's just focused on trying to force in that mid tower now. He's just switching, going for the highest priority target. They may kill him off, Cuckoo. He's going to make a run for it, but he has been stunned up as well with Rappy. Might have missed that swashbuckle, but it won't matter. They do get the kill on now. Carl, taking trouble. A great Sonic Wave though. They bring the pain in the top. Rolling Thunder out. This clock is in pure tube trouble. Nightmare out. He's trying to blink away, but the Rupture will kill him off. Yeah. Maybe just didn't realize the Rupture was... Fun little fact though with mechanics, John, you can actually blink and dodge the Rupture damage on the Queen of Pain. That is possible, but if you don't realize the Rupture's there, you won't be able to commit to the trick.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky distance to have to estimate, and you know, it's something that I guess Carl wasn't quite ready for. So Neon is starting to kick up that early aggression, but you look Raven. He's been left to farm up. He hasn't really been punished. He's going for the defusal build, so it is a more aggressive build for Raven this time. Not opting for the Battle Fury, but he's been allowed to farm a 1k advantage over Scam. This is really not what you want to be seeing from Neon. The few kills they've gotten are nice, but GEEK fam are just advancing in these objectives at a faster pace.
This is Bloodseeker, like, you need to be ahead. Like, you don't want to be behind at this stage of the game as a Bloodseeker. You just really want to be aggressive here. Raven gets 3 or 4 up, and now the rotations are coming. Raven trying to get out. Down in the life rating, he does blink away, but now Zephyr does take the Rupture. Now rolling bottom, won't quite connect onto Raven. Softline's going to be able to double task, but he is out from White. He does catch the Pango. So they do end up killing off that Ricky. Now playing after Wyman on the Bane. They will leave the Bane alone, maybe just deciding Cuckoo's a better target. Will they have the damage though? I think while they're from your part, but now Cuckoo will turn around with the Dragon Tail. You just don't really have the damage output to deal with the DK unless you have everyone basically surrounding him. And this is with Cuckoo actually skipping out on the braces. He's just going straight for that blink.
Yeah, I don't blame Cuckoo for going this way. He needs to be up in front, setting the pace to counteract Neon's aggression. So the fast blink is necessary, but you're still seeing him quite tanky, and that is paying off great. I think, look at Zephyr now, does have the level set, so you've got to sustain the pink out. from GEEK Fam, and that makes it a lot more complicated in trying to actually pick them off as long as Zephyr's positioning is on point. So you do have certain tools coming out for GEEK. Neon still gonna be happy with finally getting punishment on Raven, but they did give away that tier 1 anyway. GEEK Fam still finding the objectives in the end, and I'm sure they're gonna go for that mid tier 1 next. It's at 300 HP, not much left to.
Like Rappy's trying to at least split push the top lane, but we are going to have a DC now from GEEK Fam's end, which means that my time is coming soon. So teams now. Time is upon. I'll get ready for the disconnection. So we'll have the go ahead from GEEK Fam. They reconnect quite fast.
You know, this build from Zephyr is still intriguing me. Like, it does have some plays. I just don't know why you really value max death for it over even Nether Blast. Like, just a max down push tad for GEEK Fam and minimizing their damage output, but it is kind of working as well, right? Like, it has kind of tempered that aggression, although
I mean, it makes sense in a way. Like, having that max Nether Ward is going to be so detrimental for these early team fights. Like, you don't have the greatest mana pool, you don't have huge mana regen. Like, just the AoE degen aura of the mana will be quite detrimental in a team fight. But you pointed out earlier, like, the puck has so many spammable spells that it is going to be quite effective up against a hero like that. To just put it down and just see all the damage start ticking out. Even the Void Spirit, like, just such low cooldowns.
yeah, it's I don't think we've seen the full effect of it just yet. I think the positioning that Zephyr has been forced to drop in has been less than ideal, but it is at max level now, so the damage kicks in, the mana loss kicks in as well. Should start to have a bigger factor in these fights.
Oh man, they're looking for a fight now, trying to steal those bounty runes, but Raven does kill off Play Hard. Now they also find Januel.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, they're pushing the mid lane there with Yopaj, but it's just the park. GEEK Fam are rotating into that mid lane now, trying to secure that tier 1. Cuckoo will just go straight into the tower. He'll turn around onto Yopaj, trying to hold him back, but now the Twin Dragon Tail, Darren Carl will get with the Sonic Wave. Yopaj in huge trouble, and there's that Nether Ward kicking in.
Yeah,
And now that he's got the blink, right? Like, the blink on the park, that's when the Nether Ward is really gonna hurt, because you may not be able to...
Oh yeah, it's really to pay off. Like, very patient from Zephyr. Helped him massively. A little white bond cops the rupture.
Doesn't bother for the TP. Breaks that TP, rolling thunder. Big force down. They'll just commit for the easy kill off that lane. So Neon sitting at an 8 to 8. There's a 4K net worth being here for GEEK Fam. And again, you look at Scam, he's just been struggling on Seeker.
It's been slow going, and he went for the drum build just to have more early presence for his team. What we tend to see from core seekers have been a Blade Mail Radiance Rush or an SNY Radiance, but timing doesn't feel great for Scam. They did smoke, but it's immediately popped by Zephyr.
Zephyr does break it, now looking to place that Nether Ward down, but it's being chased by Playhard. It's going to be a dream call out, but it's doing nothing. Raven is still perfectly fine. Playhard will jump back in, but Raven just juicing and diving. Now the DD Crep Mindstill is going to be there on that roster. Playhard is clicking out. Januel, no, he will go down, but so will Playhard. Now the Bloodseeker, he's going to be able to run away, but I can't say the same for Yopaj, who does get stunned up and smoke screen.
See you later, nerd.
Well, you've got the Bloodseeker out of there, but Carl just tips him. I don't care, you did nothing in the team fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a consistent factor in these fights. Scam presence is starting to be minimized. You know, as you build in, I mean, got Zephyr at 9 now. All of a sudden he has level 3 decrep. So it becomes a lot harder for anyone to really just focus down and right click, especially for that Bloodseeker. This mitigates his speed and gives a lot of downtime for Scam even if he does show up. So GEEK fam are starting to build up here in Neon. Their draft is supposed to be just as aggressive. It's just not quite kicking into gear. They need to find a way to make it work. They need to keep hunting Raven, because despite Raven joining these fights, he's still top of network.
Yep, I got Rocket, Green Core there, the Cuckoo in around the area. Now Carl going straight after you, Taj. Just trying to run away, but they couldn't even kill Zephyr off. He is going to survive, and now Spinch is forced to run. They're going to turn it around onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo will also survive. Meanwhile, Carl is still trying to kill off Taj, but doesn't quite get that kill apart. But it does get really concerning if you can't deal with the pos for Zeph or Pugnox. And now GEEK fam, they're going to run down to the bot lane. They don't have Dragon Form, but they don't really need it. They can slowly just siege away and wait for the next creep wave.
Yeah, it's
I mean, the best that Neon can do is just try to push in the top tower.
It's not going to be a favorable trade for Neon in that case. It's just not a high priority lane anymore for GEEK fam, and you are seeing Neon's draft fall apart at the seams a bit. It's getting a bit wonky. Scam's presence is just not doing much. The Ruptures not really working on GEEK fam beyond that one time. Did try to butt dodge it, and beyond that point, it's been pretty well going for GEEK fam. They're still finding farm. They're still pulling ahead. Aggressively. Carl is up top though.
He is. Fast up. Does not latch on. They just can't. They can't secure the kill on the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, it's... You really need to land that combo. Every single time I think we watch Play Hard, the Remnants just don't latch. It's really tricky, but you depend so much of your control on it. And once it misses, oh no.
Yeah, you're paused. Can't really afford to keep dying like this. His team was quite dependent on playing with the park. But they've just fallen so far behind now. You've got a 6k net worth lead on GEEK fam. They are pushing down objectives at the very least. They did find the top tier 1 and, well, they're trying to push to the top tier 2 a little bit. But ultimately they're just avoiding the side of GEEK fam right now, which I can't quite blame them for. But now a smoke is there from GEEK fam. Cuckoo does have the Dragon Form. Play hard TPing up, and no, Dragon Tail and Nightmare both going to be there. Play hard, can you juke yourself out of this? You will Astro Step away, but well, he Astro Steps again. They are on the chase, they do want the kill. Carl, blink your vision. Play hard, still 20 seconds for another Astral Step. He is probably going to die if they can just secure the vision though. No, he's shooting out quite nicely and simulate again. Carl with the Sonic Wave. Enough wasting time. Meanwhile, mid lane, Zephyr, he's going to be in trouble. Double silence out on that Pugna. He's in big trouble in fact. He's taking a bit of damage. Now that the pressure comes down, Green Coil is there. Can they actually finish the job off though? Not quite. They do finally get it, but your pass goes down and now a Fiend scam.
The next level, play.
Even Januel, he's trying to run away, but Carl is going to be on top of it. Raven gets a triple kill on the Ricky. And it's just turned into a good old-fashioned stomp.
It really is. 9-17, 9k lead for GEEK fam. And Neon, they keep trying to commit onto Zephyr, and they have to throw so many bodies out for a pause 4. It's just shaping up the way Neon would like. I think Scam has to reconsider that build. Oh no.
Rappy does barely get away with his life intact. Play hard. Sun gonna be there on the Void Spirit. He is in huge trouble. Raven is just online now. Like, you got the BKB up. He didn't even need to use that last little engagement.
No.
No necessity for it.
Yeah, he's got so much space to just command these fights that, again, Neon just feels like they have to focus on Zephyr, but it's not enough. And oh no, Scam.
Easy kill. Genuine there as well, but there's really no hope of survival.
Nah, they call it.
Yeah. He's too far ahead.
Yeah, 9-19, 12k, 21 minutes. Raven again with a great farm. Carl with great aggression and Zephyr just ruining them. Just, the Pugna pick was so good here. And the fact that he went for the ward to even stop Yupaj from trying to make plays paid off in the end. So Neon, gotta be a bit more careful in that draft. You can't allow GEEK fam to take the DK and Quap. They just love these.
voice in my mind, I slowly drifting by. All the poems I wrote for you, they made me blind, they made me lie. Heard you in the rain, will you always be there? The last thing you said
5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
For the second game, this best of two between Geek Fam and Neon Esports. Is it all better on John X5, John? Still haven't got your cameras working, sir, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. That was a very explosive first game showing from Geek Fam, and it does kind of continue down that historical matchup, right? Like, Geek Fam has beat out Neon consistently. We saw that in the last game. We'll see whether or not Neon, if they manage to fix their playstyle, maybe fix up a bit of that drafting. Do have to say though that they continue to allow Geek Fam to have access to the Queen of Pain and DK, and that's not a great sign for me.
That it is not, Neon. They will prioritize the Beastmaster, but Geek Fam, if they so wish, could literally go for the DK Quap right now. Of course, they are going to be on the Radiant side, and that may change things up a little bit. Apparently it will. Geek Fam into that campaign again. Arguably, that playing a ball for now. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a mid-conquer Carl, regardless of another great for Geek Fam.
Yeah, I like this response to that Beastmaster. With the you can clear out the army quite fast, and it just makes it a lot easier to stop that push coming out from Neon. Do have to say though, the Queen of Pain will have to be a bit more careful with the roar this time around. Neon does have very strong hold, so they do have a way of keeping that Quap locked in place. We'll see whether or not Geek Fam does try to rectify that down the line, or if they're just perfectly fine with that. As again, we've seen. Yeah, if you don't care as much, like Zephyr, we've seen him play the effective Quap 4 anyway, so having a direct counter for 4 isn't too amazing. There's still space there for Geek Fam.
Okay. Esports, they're going to take quite a bit of time trying to make this second pickup. One thing we didn't really talk about is Raging Potato is not back. It is still Cypher Rappy, so that hasn't changed, in case people were wondering. Neon, they're going to take a bit of time here for the second pick now, using almost half their reserve time, but they do go into the Rubik pick, which is quite intriguing, but with the Kunkka Queen of Pain, I guess there is quite a bit of spell to steal already for that Rubik, so I can't quite blame them for that. And funnily enough, I didn't even notice this, but the Earthshaker hasn't been banned, so both teams actually skip out on the ES.
Yeah, it's one of the few days where we actually see the ES not being a priority. It's been a few series actually where the ES has kind of been ignored, so we'll see whether or not GEEK Fam will want to pick that up, and if Neon does ban it out here. Of course, GEEK Fam, if you do pick up ES, you're picking it into Rubik, so that can be a bit tricky, giving a lot more value for Neon to play around with that. And Rubik's already a very strong response to a potential Shaker pick, so Neon's kind of got their bases covered. Do you have to say, the Rubik, as you mentioned, lots of nice spells to steal the Lunka. I think having access to the X is going to be really good, and even the boat isn't too complicated to steal, so you can have added durability and control on Neon's side now, which can be a bit of a problem. I think Neon has set themselves up quite nicely. They've fixed a few of those drafting issues we saw. If it is going to be play hard Rubik, I'm sure we can GEEK Fam and chat left pool, and there is a Beastmaster Neon Esports side, so and we've seen this so many times up against the Beastmaster. You just take away Boar, the Beastmaster's laning presence is severely weakened.
Well, it really is.
10 seconds.
You do rely quite a lot on having those double balls up to really dominate the lane, but just having one of them taken away from you is quite devastating. Not to mention the Enchantress can just impetus the other ball if she really wants to just remove it from the game. And that can make things even harder, because then you just have no balls and she has one. So Neon Esports now going to start thinking again about this third pickup. Only 20 seconds reserved left for this. They are thinking quite hard. In all fairness, game one was a very dominant victory for GEEK Fam, so I don't quite blame them for taking their time. But they do go into the Oracle. That does kind of imply we might see a troll pick coming up for Neon Esports. GEEK Fam, though, they won't really care too much. They go straight into the PA pick.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting one to pick into Oracle of all heroes. I think the Oracle's a pretty good response already to the PA. This does tell me GEEK Fam's just very confident. Like,
Yeah.
it's like pick the PL into Shaker. You feel confident up against the natural counter. In PA, you have to be worried about the disarm. You have to be worried about the magic damage and control the Beastmaster can bring out. And of course, the False Promise just delays that burst. And you see the troll, right? It's gonna be there because it's an Oracle pick. And the troll against PA isn't too bad. PA can hurt from the mischance as well, so it can be a bit back and forth. A lot more confident in Neon's draft this time. It is a lot easier to pull off. Skem on the troll should be able to farm a lot better, and should be able to get pressure on Skem to start early. But GEEK Fam with their draft, I mean, they can play aggressive from the get-go. Raven on PA should be... It can go either way. He can opt for a very fast build, just slow the pace down of Battlefield. I think GEEK Fam should just play a fast game. We saw with a very early Ricky. The PA can kind of get done, maybe from the troll, but the Scorpier supports are going to be exposed to that hero.
10 seconds.
That they will be.
Remaining.
Kind of intriguing that Neon Esports still felt the need to go for that troll into the PA. Like, you have that naturally built evasion, the PA, which is going to make it a bit harder for this troll warlord. So we'll see how it pans out for Neon. It's at least they do have the Pugman now, so they won't be afraid of that Decrep coming in as well from Zephyr. Of course, Zephyr was being quite disruptive in that first game. They just want to try and remove that hero and just have a bit of a break from being decrepit and having nether wards everywhere and being life drained constantly. Now that final pickup, they are looking for their mid hero. It's a matter of what they are to choose.
5 seconds.
As it stands, it still seems like they are going to be up against that Kunkka in the mid lane. They could go for the DK still, it is there, and it would kind of match up with what Neon Esports is already going for. The only problem I see with the DK is that you don't really have control for the PA. They do go for it. I don't blame them for that. I think it is a good pick. It's just still a problem of how do you deal with the PA that I'm still thinking about.
Yeah, it's either you focus on PA or you focus on QWOP, but you can't focus on both. That's really that's really the weakness of this draft. It's all single target control. So the team fight coming out from Neon, not the best. GEEK Fam has that in spades with their Kunkka and QWOP. And again, they've got the leeway in their last pick to exploit this. The DK gives Neon a lot of push with a Beastmaster. I think that's even the troll, right? We've seen a lot of early trolls just shove in at tier 1. So that's something Neon can work for and apply a lot earlier. They can try to take objectives a lot faster. So look to Neon to try to find that early space by clearing out the map a bit. But I think they just want to play as 5 again. Like, Queen of Pain, QWOP and Kunkka gives you a lot of room to force these early fights, and there's still a last pick to be had here. It's looking like Zephyr, Queen of Pain with the Enchantress lack control if they're gonna go that pick as a core. Usually the Carl or Cuckoo here if they're feeling a bit different there. There you go, yeah.
Yeah, the Timber. I didn't even realize the Timber was still there. That is really nice though for GEEK Fam now, because you have a very, very easy way of getting through HP. Of course, the Timber does not care about the armor of the Dragon Knight, so it will be a fairly easy way of just ripping through this DK. Overall, even with the Troll Warlord, like there's not much you can do as a troll up against this Timber. Of course, the Oracle can be a little bit frustrating with the Fortune's End just purging off. Overall, I think you're still very, very happy if you're Cuckoo this game. I say Cuckoo, but they haven't decided which lane he is going yet. It could easily be the mid with Carl. They may go down that route. Yeah, they will. They get Cuckoo the Kunkka, Zeph takes the QWOP. Because they saw your Page on that mid DK, I can't quite blame them. A very, very easy lane for Carl now.
Yeah, it's an excellent last pick from GEEK Fam. And there are some exploits here for Neon, right? Like, not amazing control from GEEK Fam. They're relying on Cuckoo's spell usage and maybe the Enchantress to find a Centaur creep for the stun. Otherwise, Neon, they've got a lot of options to try to run away. Definitely a lot more control from Neon's side in that early game. So you look at the Oracle and the Rubik to try to really make that work for themselves, but it's just hard either way, even without the control in GEEK Fam. They've got the counter pick for the DK, they've got great clear for GEEK Fam. It's gonna be tricky training phase. Find their level 6 and start getting pickoffs. I think they can transition from those pickoffs into towers well, and that's really the best way for you to go. I just don't think GEEK Fam will allow that. They'll group up 5 by the time they hit 6. Just keep fighting. Their lineup allows that.
We're gonna see how it all pans out. Neon, they'd love to just try and get a draw here up against GEEK Fam if they can. Because I believe Neon is playing in the next series as well, so it's not going to be a great start for them if they get 0-2 here. Unfortunately for Neon, their next series is no easy. They're up against the Droid. So they can make the argument it's even harder for that next best of 2 they're in. But that's to be decided. I mean, we'll see how GEEK Fam performs in the second game and make the determination whether a Droid is going to be a harder matchup. As both teams are sitting pretty high up in the group stage right now. GEEK Fam they get a 2-0 victory here.
Yeah, it's been a really good time for GEEK Fam in those groups. They haven't dropped the series. They've dropped a couple of games, sure, but it's been consistent. Either they win or draw. So they've just been performing. Neon, I mean, middle of the pack. They've still got a lot of room to grow, a lot more game to play. So as you mentioned, when you play back-to-back series, I mean, it's the pattern, right? Like, a lot of teams go 0-2 to 0. The only team to break that cycle was GEEK Fam. We'll see if Neon continues or starts to try to break that pattern as well.
Forget Neon Esports, they weren't even meant to be here. LGD Int got replaced by Neon Esports because they... I'm not sure what happened to LGD International, but they couldn't be here. So the fact that Neon's impressive in my opinion. Again, because they really weren't meant to be in the first place. So I still think Neon should be pretty happy with their position at the moment. But again, you definitely just want to try and draw this out. You don't really want to lose this series if you can avoid it. It would be their first outright loss so far for Neon Esports if they do get 2-0'd here. It's not going to be the best feeling.
Definitely not, and I'm a bit surprised. GEEK Fam is starting with it probably not top first, so it's gonna take some time. Zephyr will, no, Whitemon will commit the blink down, not about the PA. Not the lane you want to leave Raven alone too long. Without that Enchantress around, you can see the Beastmaster start to pull ahead.
It looks like Wyman was just trying to make sure they didn't put it down. He just TP's down. You are going to have play hard there with Rappy, which is quite a strong lane, the Beastmaster Rubik, but the Enchantress should just nullify that quite easily. Raven should have no issues being able to farm up in this lane. Block off as well. Just missing one creep there, but overall the equilibrium still stays his way. Mid lane.
Yeah.
You have come up against your Page, and we briefly talked over this, but once you've got a point in that whirling death, this lane becomes incredibly hard for your Page. And this is one of the rare DK lanes I would say could actually have quite a kills going on. Oh, again with that whirling death, you'll be able to really abuse your Page's HP pool quite easily. You just don't have the armor. So the one strong suit of the DK is just removed.
Yeah,
You go, it begins.
It's not gonna be fun for your Page. The one does have at least, you know, the temperature is not too tanked until you hit maybe level 2 reactives. You can trade. Oh,
It's getting close. He does have to sell up. It's you know, probably one of the earlier sell usages you'll see. It's to be expected, of course. I just don't see your Page having any chance of getting through the pinnacle HP at all. There's just no chance. Your Page is trying to secure CS the best he can. Bot lane, however, play hard. Might be the first blood. He's being chased down, and Raven does end up getting that blood. So he was just chased out by Whiteman, and eventually Raven did just join in because he had no creeps to hit. Does get the first blood goal.
yeah, and this is again one of the issues with the Beastmaster against ENG. You're forced to go for the Axis build, which lets Whitemon go for Impetus level 1, so he can do trade up against Rubik. It's really easy for Whitemon to just drag him low, so you are getting a lot more value here from the ENG and Neon. That offlane, it's gonna be hard to slow Raven down.
That it will be.
Oh, Rappy.
Yeah, he's in trouble now. Dagger comes down from Raven. Rappy gonna die as well. It's that cast is just so darn strong. So at the very least, Neon Esports, they do get a trade onto Cuckoo. So the Kunkka does also die around the same time. And you will see the kill come out on Skem. So this time around, this is going to allow us to get the free XP and farm on the clock for about a couple seconds. Cuckoo will just take back into the lane. It's good to see them at least finding that trade on Neon Esports.
Yeah, they should keep that aggression up while Zephyr is still weak. I mean, level 1 to, I'd say level 3 is when the support pop isn't quite up to par, so that's the moment for Neon to exploit it. But once Zephyr has 3, once he has a lot more damage, it's gonna be really tricky for that. You're gonna have to look at the Oracle, invest me in the Edict to block that damage, otherwise Zephyr will just be able to really pump up the harassment lane.
Well, bot lane play hard again.
Oh.
Getting harassed up by Whiteman, and Raven was on the chase. Ultimately, Whiteman was able to finish off the kill. Rappy's going to try and turn around and dish out more harass. Of course, one thing we didn't really talk about is Rappy did go for the wild axes. So, you don't have that ball being stopped. It just doesn't seem to matter. They're finding the kills anyway.
Yeah, that's really what allowed that first blood in the first place, because Whitemon goes really early, and you just can't trade. So you're hitting the point now where you have level 3 of Rappy, the axes start to do a bit more. Does have the soul ring for harass, but it's not quite enough.
Still a great kill up for Skem now. He does find Zephyr on the Queen of Pain. Skem is having a good time in the safe lane for the side of Neon Esports. His CS isn't quite as high as Raven yet, matching in kills at the moment. Cuckoo is not feeling very, very safe in this lane at all. However, bot lane again, play hard will die. Now Rappy trying to run away. He should be successful in doing so. Secure the kill there onto Wyman, but Wyman is being quite elusive on that Enchantress. And, well, he'll just rotate to get those bottom bounty runes now as well. And that should mean a 3-for-1 trade in those bounties here for GEEK fam. They are going to have a bit of a fight over at the top lane, but your Page now going to be rotated on by Zephyr. One more Willing Death will do it, and yeah, he fairy fires, but it's not going to help. And Carl will give him the tip.
Yeah, this is just an easy lane for Carl. He's at level 6, he has the chakra up, level 3 reactive. There is no way this DK by himself will be able to apply that pressure. And you do see this pressure rotate in, and there's no point.
Want to soak some XP. They do need to stick around though. If they expect your Page to get any form of XP and fast, because Carl is not going to let him back away. Zephyr will come in. He's actually just going to die here. They're trying to get in range to help him out. Maybe they get lift off, but no, your Page is running the wrong way as well. You need to run towards your team. Oh, to be saved like that. And now, Whiteman going to chase Samuel down. Zephyr going to be with it there with the Shadow Strike. It's going to be another kill. This does take on the Enchantress, but they even done an Observe Ward on the way up. I think you need a lane switch if you're Neon. You can't keep this up.
No,
you're not going to get any space this game.
Nah, I'd say maybe you just toss the Beastman from it. He does have the axes, but it is tricky. And this is the point where Carl can just start cutting the waves, start forcing in the mid-tier 1. This does open up the side lanes, but it's not like those side lanes opening up has help. Raven's still finding kills. And Scam is farming, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be matched once more. Raven already has a substantial lead 6 minutes in.
He does. Now he has a free lane. All the supports have rotated to the mid lane. Your Page is just can't do anything else. They're not really willing to switch lanes apparently. So now that tier 1 tower is going to go down very early. Ironically enough, up against the DK of all things. The DK loses his mid lane at 7 minutes, which is very, very unusual. But it is a timber matchup after all. And look, I'm not going to stop. There's actually no reason for him to play. You know, just forcing these rotations in the side of Neon Esports is enough to say. Zephyr's going to be in trouble, however, and does die. Does get by the spawn eventually by, well, the Conker came out from Cuckoo, trying to help him out. But still, you're just so far behind now if you're Neon. I mean, it's a 3k net worth lead at 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's just going to continue to build up, and Neon, the best thing they can do is invest in Scam, just ensure Scam will never get pressured. Even getting that done, hold on, they're trying to jump Cuckoo.
Cuckoo's not level 6 yet. But he's a bit susceptible, but with the X he will be able to get away, and it looks like he's just going to go ahead and try and secure that level 6 for himself now. Here's out those stats being made by Zephyr. It's at that point now where GEEK fan may just feel very confident to group up as a team and start pushing down more tier 1s. You don't even need Raven there. Raven is top of the net worth board right now, but he's working towards the Battle Fury. So you're going to want to just leave him to farm up peacefully. But just with a full kind of hero lineup of this top lane, they can easily secure that tier 1 tower.
Definitely. It's not going to be easy for Neon to defend. You do actually see Scam rotate bot as well, so they want to apply their own pressure down bot.
There's going to be a roar coming out from Rappy. They're going to go straight onto Whiteman, just trying to get themselves a kill secured, and they will. I believe that was actually the first roar of the game being committed, but you just got to commit it to get yourself something. They even find the neutral creep as well for Scams. It's not all bad. Now they're going to start trying to force in that bottom tier 1 tower. And interestingly enough, instead of trying to push the top tower, GEEK want to defend this bot tier 1. They're not actually going to back off.
Yeah, and this does work. Neon, they're not going to commit too hard. They are waiting for Yapaj to come in. So the DK is going to be up. They're going to have the Dragon form and the Beastmaster around to try to shove it in, but GEEK fam, they TP back in.
The beauty is Carl just found the T1 top tower by himself. He's also going to take the outpost prior to that 10-minute mark and just try to hold that. And you're going to need every single hero from Neon Esports to try and take that outpost off him now. Like, he's level 8, he's about to hit 9. He's just way too far ahead. And they're not even going to try. They're going to let both the outposts go on Neon. So now you've got an XP problem on Neon Esports as well as a gold problem. It really is the worst for the supports here. Like, Genuel's stuck at 4, the Rubik's stuck at 5, we're 10 minutes in. It's not all that bad, but you need these guys to be online now. Try and help out your cause and farming.
Yeah, it's gonna be tricky for that combo with the Oracle to kick off because of that bad start. You're not gonna see the false promise plays anytime soon. Although you do try to give Jonuel a free top lane. Neon is smoked up. They want to play around with Aurora. They will just group up and try to find something.
They're going for the hardest target. They should be able to get him, but he does have a fair few reactive armor targets. 5 heroes coming up, they do commit the roll. Fortune's going to get up there as well. He is taking a fair bit of damage here, but he does heal up. Still Carl will eventually go down. That is a very successful kind of pickup for Neon Esports. But you've got to mention the fact that does take a 5-hero rotation to make that happen.
Yeah, it's a heavy investment to find the kill, but it gives them control back in the jungle. You've got some creeps to kill now for your punch. The farm can start to build up. It's not building up as fast as Ravens. You take a look at him. He's just about 2 parts off the Battle Fury. So our PA just about to be in line with that item pickup, and once that Battle Fury's up, of course, that tends to tell us more farm will come out, but we have seen a lot of players just actually fight for the Battle Fury nowadays. We'll see whether or not Raven will stay patient or start joining in even more, as GEEK fam, they look to take that tier 1 bot.
I mean, the Battle Fury is much more of a fighting item now as well in this current meta. Like with those recent buffs it did get. I don't think you need to farm very much on GEEK fam with this Timber. Like Carl, he's just so far ahead. He already has the early mech. When you get the mech up, it doesn't imply that you're going to group up and start fighting. Very early Guardian Greaves rush as well on that Timber, which is not something you see very often. But it's not like they need a pipe. Worst case, they need a Crimson Guard, which is exactly what he's going for after those Greaves. But I think with Raven, he's going to be more than happy to just join his team straight after the Battle Fury. Obviously, he will try and farm up the Death Roll after that. It's not going to hurt to just join your team. No. I think it'll be quite detrimental to Neon if he does. Skip trying to take the bounty rune off that Radiant side, but Carl is there at the right time, and he's just going to chase him down now. Scam, he doesn't have battle trance, but it's okay. They will back off. Still Zephyr does still play hard in the bot lane, but does die himself now as well.
It's just a bit of a trade with supports. In the end, still a better pick-off for GEEK fam. That's slightly more gold for them, but Neon's still going to be happy with finding whatever they want. They do force movements out. This is giving Raven space, but Neon's starting to find the pickoffs they want. So it's time for GEEK fam to just step back, finish up the items they're looking for, finish up that Battle Fury first. You look at Cuckoo, he's just about to finish up his phase boot still, so a lot more room to grow on our Kunkka, and they can just kind of relax. They've taken all the tier 1s. The tier 2s are a bit trickier, as Neon does have ways of fighting with the levels they have now, so it's time to just kind of reel it back a bit and just slowly build up.
But they will. They do hold a 5k net worth lead. In mid lane, there will be a strong up from Neon. They're going to try again onto this Timber. Carl is going to be in a bit of trouble here. Dragon does come out as well, but he's got 24 reactive armor stats. Both going to fly in down the field with a nice torrent, and well, they're going to find playing hard. Now it's a full-scale team fight. Jenny Olsen's in trouble. Skem is also in huge trouble. He will get the battle trance off, but he lost the Oracle, and now Rappy also going to get chased down. Control trying to fight back, does kill off Cuckoo, but it will not matter. It's a 1-for-4 trade. The only person to walk away is going to be your Page. And that's just the problem. You commit 5 heroes onto Carl, he doesn't die, and his team meets up with him to just take an easy fight.
it's really tricky. I'm surprised they took that fight so close to that mid-tier 1. There was still an access point for GEEK fam to find that backup. So the aggression from Neon is what they need. It's just, it's not the right spot. It's not with the right hero, and they do get punished. You take a look at Raven. I think that is just about enough to give him battle carry. Just 200 gold off, and that it's straight into the desert, as you mentioned. Just the damage really is starting to kick up a huge amount for RPA, and it's kind of silly just how many neutral hammers you do need. That's 1 for the Fury, 2 for the Desolator, 1 for the BKB. That's a lot of hammers to build into.
It is a lot of hammers. Raven does like his hammers very, very much. Gonna put the double damage on it as well now, and General, don't show yourself. Scary match to run into, but he does purge off the DD. At least gets it removed. Like Wyman, he's just controlling that dire triangle right now, just patrolling it with his creep. Does get the stun off. Now impetus to fly and then play hard. Just take a bit of harassment. Back Raven comes in and gets a 600 damage crit. Just gets worse and worse. A 7k net worth lead at 15 minutes in. Scam, how far are you in farm? He's going for the MKB rush, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But it's
limiting.
Slow.
Yeah, it's slow. You don't have to fight for that. You're not going to be farming it too well, skipping the battlefield. And
Connected.
And that's why I'm just in the game. Fight early, water down stats, and this is going to really affect Gam. They need to start committing to the.
Oh wait, John, your mic's playing up. So I'll just wait for you to fix those issues. But mid lane is being pushed in. Wyman going to be there with Carl. That protection is going to kick in. They don't really have a creep wave, as I believe Jenny well. He just pulled it away. Does cancel his own TP though. They're going to try and chase him down now. In fact, Wyman will just not bother. Bot lane is where the action's going to be. Play hard, he will take a boat. Does steal the boat, but it doesn't matter. Carl will be there to secure the kill, and he just continues to tip people now as the pause comes out once again.
See you later, nerds.
This time Zephyr's going to have the problems.
Yeah. It's okay. Hello, Mike. Is it okay now?
Yes.
You want to know what happened, Mike?
What happened, John?
I got my dad's phone. Got a phone call. So the internet dies. Oh, I love this. This is great. It works when it works, but phone calls apparently break it up. Still, Neon, they could use a bit of a breakup. They're falling really behind. 9k lead for GEEK fam. They're just gonna have to bleed these objectives off. There's no way they team fight into this, not with how far ahead GEEK fam is. You see MKB come out onto Scam, and that start. We're gonna sneak a rush with this.
Yeah, they are trying to sneak that Roshan with the MKB. I do like this play from Neon Esports, just trying to get something off the map. Any objective that they can get is worth taking, but do GEEK know something? Yeah, oh, he knows. He's running down. Or does he know? No, he doesn't. I thought he did spot his cars running on the Dragon Might, but they have no clue this is happening. The Aegis is taken. Carl is gonna feel like, well, he's gonna feel like he missed out on something there. He could have easily taken that Aegis away. But at the same time, you might not really care. Like, it's nice to get the Aegis for Neon. Definitely the gold's gonna help. But they are still gonna find themselves 10k gold behind. And you're getting closer and closer now to having that full Crimson Guard up. In fact, he does have it up. He's bringing the recipe out. He just wants the Guardian Greaves now on the Timber Saw. So that Aegis is only going to really mean that you have a secondary life from the Troll, but it's not like they're really struggling to kill you anyway.
No. definitely not. I mean, you do have a lot more time to try to kill Raven off. I think that's really just the objective, but Raven might be able to breach you down faster. Desolator is up and running. So if you thought his damage was out of control last time, I'm fairly certain they're just dead now.
Well, Lane keeping in, and he does die. Great pick up there from Neon. Target just getting cocky there to take him straight into that tier 1 tower. And all it took was a roar and a battle trance, and he wasn't enough to take him out the mid lane now. They are making the jump onto the card. He does take the boat, there's just so much damage. Now Carl will just start giving the tips back to the way of Neon Esports.
Radiant's
Yeah.
is under attack.
It's just, the Timbersaw kill was great, don't get me wrong. But it's just every time I look at this net worth, up and up, it hasn't gone down once in the GEEK fam yet.
No. It will continue to build up as well because Raven farmed a lot and he went Fury.
Sorry, John, you're going robotic again on me.
Comes down just
Anyway, GEEK fam, still dominating this game. 11k net worth now. You look over the scam, he clearly has quite a bit of damage there though, so he does have that comeback potential in this troll. It's not like this game is over. They're just going to find a couple nice team fights on the side of Neon Esports to try and pull this one around. Look at the top lane now being pushed in by Raven.
Tower is under attack.
He's thinking about going after the tier 3 and does clear out the creep wave now. Does actually hit the tier 3 tower a bit with that Desolator as well. Nobody's there to react to this. So it's just free damage for Raven. GEEK fam was there as a team just in case Neon Esports made a big play onto that PA, but they don't. So now GEEK fam's going to go back down to the bot lane to try and defend. As Rappy going to get slowed up, but he will just TP out immediately. Instead, they may just settle for the E. Oracle, then no. Seems as though they're just going to make sure their outpost isn't being taken. Poor old Gepard is just trapped in the tree line now as... Well, apparently they do find the Oracle. Whiteman does secure the kill there on the Enchantress. Neon, maybe in the mid lane, could try and chase Raven, but no, he's going to blink strike out and be just fine. They are still going to try and go for a fight here, Neon, but they don't quite initiate. They'll just continue controlling this map. They've got a 13k lead now. You see Scam still trying to just try and get that basher up. Needs every form of control he can get.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
All right, Mike. I think it's back. Is it back? It's my. All right. Oh, Mike. Okay, nice. Came back right in the pause.
tower is under attack.
That's the control starts to get a bit. Oh. Okay, there we go. It starts to get really tricky to lock in Raven. You have to commit the roar in this case, and that's it. You have to throw everything you have on that one hero. Whereas on GEEK Fam's side, Carla's still an issue, Luku's still an issue, so it's just tricky for Neon to find that opening now with just how far behind they've fallen. They need to find a big pick-off before they can start cleaning up, and they really need to maybe trying to make that orb. It's just not been enough.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Will they trigger it?
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
See you later, nerds.